Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems. Learn how we can help you arrive at cost-effective and innovative solutions to your toughest industry challenges at dowautomotive.com.
Here are today's top headlines. Ford's problems with the UAW are more serious than thought. GM runs into problems with a supplier, and a look at Toyota's breakthrough in using carbon fiber for cars. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Friday, October 30th, 2009, and now the news. Ford's problems with the UAW are turning out to be more serious than anyone anticipated. The Associated Press reports that 8 locals, representing 12,500 workers, have rejected a new contract. Only 4 locals, representing 7,000 workers, have approved it. But the Detroit News reports that Ford's axle plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan, may ask for a revote. Workers there rejected the contract, but now some are afraid Ford will outsource a lot of the work done at that plant, and they want to vote again. A report from the Associated Press says that General Motors has to shut down an assembly plant because of part shortages for transmissions from a supplier in India, losing production of the GMC Acadia and Buick Enclave. As you'll remember, we reported the same problem at Ford earlier in the week, losing production of the Edge, the Flex, the MKT, and MKX. These vehicles use the same 6-speed automatic transmission that GM and Ford designed together, and it shows the risk of buying parts from allegedly low-cost suppliers who are half a world away. Edmunds.com says the Cash for Clunkers program was mighty expensive. It claims that most of the 690,000 vehicles that qualified for the program would have been sold anyway. Only 125,000 of them were incremental sales, meaning it cost taxpayers $24,000 per car. Now the White House is hitting back Fox News style, calling the report faulty and implausible, according to the Detroit News. The White House says the number could be as high as 560,000 incremental sales. Ford estimates the number at 280,000. GM predicted it was around 500,000. Autoline Daily estimates them at 140,000. And while I fully support the Clunkers program, Edmunds is making a really good point. And speaking of sales, General Motors is extending its 60-day satisfaction guarantee. The company says its May the Best Car Win campaign has been successful in boosting consumers' opinion of the company and getting them to consider its vehicles. The guarantee, which allows customers to return a vehicle up to 60 days after they bought it, will now run until January 4. As you probably know, Bob Lutz threw down the gauntlet with the V-Series Challenge. He dared anyone with a stock 4-door car to beat his lap time in a Cadillac CTS-V. It's a real-life version of GM's new May the Best Car Win advertising campaign. John Heinrichs, GM engineer and race driver, officially took the first place, but a mystery driver allegedly beat his time. No, it wasn't the Stig from Top Gear. Autoline Daily has learned it was Johnny O'Connell, a Corvette Racing American Le Mans winner. Cost be damned. Many supercars and even some not-so-supercars feature carbon fiber. This high-tech material is strong and light, which is why Toyota is using it extensively in the new Lexus LFA. Autoblog has a mesmerizing video of how the company weaves the car's A-pillars. It uses a circular loom with what looks like hundreds of little spindles to form the parts. This is interesting because Toyota started out as a company making looms over a century ago. The company's probably using its experience building the LFA to start moving the material down to mass market vehicles. They've just got to figure out how to do it cheaper. And speaking of how to design lightweight cars, you'll want to hear what Mark Royce had to say on last night's edition of Autoline After Hours. We'll be back right after this. Mark Royce is the Vice President of Global Vehicle Engineering for General Motors. Last night he joined us for Autoline After Hours, and the talk turned to how and why GM needs to make its vehicles lighter. In the following clip, Mark gets into some of the specific details of how GM is going to do that.
Everybody can think about and see and touch and feel carbon fiber, aluminum, all those things, okay? But the magical piece that the auto industry hasn't completely revealed yet is the joint efficiency of the core structure of the car. Okay, and the reason why I say that is we have typically, as an industry, developed a structure, and then we have done things like aluminum motor compartments, or we've done a completely aluminum car. But if you look at the joint structure itself and the topology that's involved with the design analysis and the design for Six Sigma of what those joints have to be designed to actually do, we've only begun to scratch the surface of the job that each joint has to do.
They're way over designed today, is that what you're saying, or
I'm not
what?
sure they're way over designed. I would say that we have not optimized the thickness of the metal in those joints or the material capabilities of the material in those joints. But to just say they're over designed implies to everybody that they're big and they're heavy and all that. No, they're not, okay? But there's another squeeze of the material itself, the interface of the material in the joint, and the actual section that leads into that joint.
By the way, Mark Roy says these changes he's talking about of how to make cars lighter will not add any cost. And you can watch the entire episode at our website at AutolineDaily.com. Okay, it's the end of the week, and that means it's time to announce the winner of our trivia contest. We asked you to identify what kind of car this is. As most of you correctly responded, it's a Land Rover Defender. And today's lucky winner is Robert Petrak, and I hope I said that right, Robert, of Troy, Michigan. Congratulations, you just won a Volkswagen Golf model car. And that is it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next week, and have a happy Halloween.